Hello again. So a quick little introduction. The first half of this video, I I guess I deleted it by mistake or something. I don't know, but I can't find it. So it's not missing out on anything important. It was just me kind of running through the backstory, I guess, of the factory armrest, where I got it from, the models that came in, blah blah blah. Nothing special. But as I said, I just deleted it by mistake or something. But anyway, this video will kind of start in the middle of the process, but I guess the most important stuff is there anyway. So not a great video, a little bit of a mess to be honest, but enjoy it either way. Okay, I have everything cleaned up, wiped down as best I could, got as much of the little grubby marks off and stuff, and it's like someone tried to paint it before, but anyway. So next step is a bit of primer, so a plastic primer. But a very important note is to make sure that you go outside and you pick the absolute worst, rainiest, shittiest, condensation filled shed that you could possibly paint anything in, because you're an impatient jackass. So let's start priming. Okay, that came out pretty nice despite the shitty weather. So next thing is to reassemble the lid. There's the tray on the underneath of it there. That's the original lid. As you can see, it's in a grey, kind of blackish material. So what I've done is I've stripped that apart. I didn't get any footage of this, but we have put together essentially a new cover for it, which matches the headliner trim and the material on the door cards. So once that's on, it'll sit in there like that. It'll be pretty sweet. One thing I'm missing for this, there's supposed to be on this frame here, there's supposed to be kind of a material sleeve which goes around your handbrake lever. Now I don't have that. From what I've seen online, it's just like essentially a piece of felt sort of, or something like that. Now you could put nothing in there, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But what I'm going to try and do, I have a little bit of, I don't know what you'd call it, it's like arts and crafts foam. I have it left over from something, I can't remember what it's from. But I think I'll be able to cut that, trim it down to size, and then say slit it down here. Take this section and glue it on up there, like glue it on from the back obviously, to make one piece to sit in there, and it should be okay. If it looks shitty, I'll just take it out and I'll redo it with something else down the line. But for now, reassemble all this stuff, all these little brackets to put the tray and stuff back in, put the new cover on, and then stick it all back onto that and see what we can do here. That was a pain, to be totally honest with you, mainly because it was a little bit too big. You can see the way it's kind of folded in and bunched in on itself there. But it's nice, it looks good. I probably should have arranged the material in such a way there was a bit more of the pattern across the middle there, but you know, it's not that big of an issue really. But overall it looks grand. It doesn't look fantastic from the back now, to be honest, but no one's ever really going to be looking at it again, just because it was the dimensions were ever so slightly too big. So it's just tucked in, like folded in under itself. Just the seam is kind of bunched up there, and it's quite hard to obviously say get it open. It's quite hard to obviously, you know, get it all sitting in under that tray relatively even, and then have enough space to actually screw it all together and without it unraveling again and stuff. But yeah, overall it's fine. It looks decent, opens and closes correctly, latches down nicely, all that. So next thing is the flap there, she said. Okay, so I've trimmed up and measured the felt. That is 55mm wide. The piece that I had before trimmed was 120mm wide, so I had a little bit of play in it. So it needs to be long enough to, well, I suppose technically it only needs to be long enough to cover that gap, which as you can see it is barely long enough. So I guess what I'll have to do, figure out a way to secure it. I think it'll just press up against it once it's screwed in the two places there and another one down here. Slit it down the middle. Now it is a shame that I had to cut and join two pieces. Like obviously I'll glue this properly, or maybe I'll put extra bit of tape or something, I don't know. I'll try and fit this in. Now if it doesn't work, I'll buy another sheet of it. The only thing is, because it's from an arts and crafts place, all the other, like you get a 10-pack but there's only one black one, which is kind of annoying. And it was something like €8 or €9. It's a bit expensive for what it is. So I'll try and make this one work. If not, if I really wanted to, I could always make like a sleeve to go over out of the same material that we just put on the top of the headrest, or the top of the cushion part. But I'd rather not go too overboard with that kind of stuff, because I have other plans with some of that excess material as well. But for now, we'll try and get this on and see if it fits. Shit, that actually worked quite well. I'm quite pleased with that. It just about fits. In a second I'll show you properly. That's the piece in there, as you can see. It's sandwiched between there and the far side right there. Those two guys right there. There's a couple of mil on either side, so there's quite a bit of excess there, but it does work. So the next thing to try and do is very carefully split that down the middle. Now again, when I'm actually doing this and putting the handbrake on, I wouldn't be surprised if it pulls it out and, you know, it ends up not working. But for now, let me set you up and we'll do this together. We'll see how quickly and how carefully we can slit this down the middle. So let's cross all the fingers. So what I'm going to do, what I'm hoping will work, actually I should probably put you the other side because I'm left-handed, so you'll be able to see what I'm doing. Let's see, can you see there? How are we? Yeah, that's close enough, that'll do. So that's about my midline there. So what I'm going to try and do, this is a brand new fresh blade. I'm going to kind of use this as a rest, I guess. Try and go one smooth motion. Get my starting line and then come back in again for the other one. Just a little bit stuck in the tape there. Just going nice and gingerly there. Okay, that's went surprisingly well. We just trim that up to the edge a little bit more. As far as it goes, that's as far as that goes. Okay, right, that's not bad now. That's not bad at all. Woohoo! Okay. Right, let's put the lid back on. And I think the next step is put it in the car. I know on some of these, this one in particular is missing. There's supposed to be a bracket that goes across the two of those spaces. You can see obviously the logo's busted off there, and it's as good as gone. You might get a screw into it, but I don't have the bracket anyway, so probably not going to really matter for that. But if it does, I guess I can make something or something, and I've also seen pictures of it on the internet. You could roughly figure out dimensions from that, but I don't see why it's going to be that important. But because the armrest with these two locators here bolts screws to the middle part of the center console, which is where the gear stick is. So I think for now, let's offer it up at the very least and see how it fits, and see how the handbrake goes through the gap. So I went to mock it up like I was just saying there, and it actually fit perfect. It went in fine. First time, that's it. A little bit more of a gap there than I would like, but you know, it's not a big deal. Handbrake goes up and down correctly. Lid opens up and down nice and tidy. Looks pretty good. The only thing I do regret is that, like I said, I didn't put a bit more of a pattern on the lid part of it, but again, it's fine. But like you can see, like there's a lot more interesting patterns on the roof. So if, for example, say one of those, where are we going, one of those kind of crisscross pieces was there or something, you know, it'd be a bit more interesting. But overall, yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So that's that for this one. A bit of a mess of a video, as I explained already, but yeah, so if you're ever doing an armrest yourself, straightforward enough, easy enough, cover it, go for it. It makes a big difference to the car, comfort wise at least. And it actually, before I go, I'll mention it sits in the right place too. I know in the rear parts video I had thought it might be a little bit too far back because I'm short and like I have my seat pulled quite far forward. I thought it might be a bit further back for me to use comfortably, but it's actually fine. So yeah, that's it for this one. Yeah, that's it for this one. See you again soon.